When the going gets tough, the tough get going, and we found just another solution. So I'm gonna do this live stream with you into the group, but it may be a little harder to see what I'm doing. I'm gonna try really hard, and I'm probably gonna fumble with the phone a little bit. I'm sitting here next to my really nice computer, and I can't get the thing to work tonight. So it's a little early visit from Mercury retrograde, but we're gonna roll with it, and I think tonight's gonna be really special. So hopefully you can see me live. I just posted into the group too to let you guys know that this is what's happening. So let me just check over there and make sure that you guys have what you need. Let's see. Can you guys see me okay? Suzanne's here. Haley's here. Denise is here. Okay. Hi guys. Sorry. We're having to kind of switch gears a little bit, but it's going to be great. Technologies is just, you know, a challenge for us tonight, but we're going to make it work. Yay. Okay, and then this will be recorded too. So in a way, it's just as good. The only other alternative was not to do it until December, because tomorrow night I have tarot and all the things. So I'm really glad this is going to work out for us. Can you guys see me okay? Can you hear me okay? I can see your comments, so I'll still be able to answer questions. I agree. Haley says it's like Mercury retro for weeks now. I agree with you. It's just been a challenge. So we're going to work around it. But it's just funny because we have beautiful technology here at Sage Goddess, and for it to fail, it's sort of a crack up to me, really. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple things to get us started. So tonight is candle magic. This is new for us. We haven't done candle carving together. Candle magic of this kind is kind of an old art, really. And it's funny because Enchantments in New York City has had a video that's gone viral. Have you seen it? Where it's their candle carving. So I'm going to talk a little bit about why we do candle carving, what it means to work with symbols. By the way, so these are my symbols. These are the symbols that I like to work with. If you go online and start searching, you're going to find other images of other symbols, but I really wanted you to have the ones that I love. So that's what this is. I also gave you all of our Sage Goddess glyphs for the astrological signs, because we're going to talk about identity in candle carving. So I have a little bit to teach you about the art and the science of this, and also the ethics of it, because this is not something you do for other people, in my personal opinion. And that's part of why I'm going to talk to you about my hesitation with something like enchantments, because in my experience, when I was trained, I was always told this is something you do for yourself, because this is pretty big magic. And so, you know, it becomes up to you whether you want to do this for somebody else or have someone, you know, buy one that somebody does for you. But we'll talk a little bit about the ethics of working with candle magic from my perspective. And then I'm going to show you all the tools that I'm working with. I've kept it somewhat simple. And also, I'm using glitter glue tonight because you can use loose glitter, but it becomes really messy. So it's up to you. If you want to use loose glitter, you can do that. If you don't want to put glitter on your candles at all, you don't have to do that either. Kaylee says that, I think it was Kaylee who said it inspired her to stock up on glitter, which is awesome. So I'm just smudging just a little. And then I'll have your December calendar live for you very shortly, which is very exciting and includes the initiation for Sanctum. So we've got a big month ahead in December that I'm excited about. Okay. I'm so happy to see you guys. So happy. Okay. So just smudging, clearing the energy. You always have to do that, especially, you know, now at the holidays, there's a little bit of a frenetic energy in the field and a lot of energy in our country, in our world right now. So I'm a frequent smudger at the moment, but I always smudge before I do any kind of crafting of, you know, of anything. And if you've been with me for a while, you know that. For me, half of the process of crafting and the magic of crafting is the intention and the preparation. So even if the craft looks very simple, the preparation for me usually is not simple. Usually not. Okay, I'm so happy that you guys are here and that you found me. Thank you for going with the flow for me tonight. My sage doesn't want to go out. So there we go. Okay, so we have smudged. I want to show you what I have with me. So, of course, you need a candle to carve into. And this is mine. I'll show you how I've gotten started here in just a minute. This is the candle that I am carving into. What's really cool is what we are bringing to Sage Goddess, hopefully tomorrow, as I ordered them, had them made for us, are, you know how they have those jar candles that have the wax inside as like a 7-day candle? So I have them, they're coming to the shop where the candle part is separate from the jar. So you can take your candle out, carve it, and then stick it into the jar and burn it inside the jar. They're just not here yet, so I'm going with a pillar that I have to carve into. I chose not to carve into beeswax because it's hard to see. So I'm carving into a proper pillar candle. You can carve into beeswax, and a friend of mine actually uses my beeswax candles, and she pushes chipstones into them to represent the symbols. And we do that sometimes too, but it's a little bit taxing, although it can be very helpful too. I mean, it can, you know, it can look really beautiful when you do little patterns and things of chipstones. So whatever pillar candle you have is fine. The color matters. Okay, so the first step in choosing your candle is choosing a color that aligns with your intention. So I'm working on a healing candle tonight because that's the energy of December, and that's the energy of our ritual coming up in a couple of weeks. That's the energy that's available in the field. So I'm working with healing, but you could certainly do a love candle, you could do a happiness candle, you could do a candle for almost anything, and I would love to know what you're choosing too. Yeah, Lisa, so, and it's hard to find actually, and just trying to get them for the shop, they're very hard to find, but the candle is separate, and then it drops into the jar so you can see all the carvings. Yeah, so Pushita, that's what I was saying, the color really does matter. So if you're doing love, you probably want a pink candle. If you're doing peace, you probably want a purple candle or a white candle. If you are doing any kind of manifestation work, I usually associate that with white or with yellow. You guys know why we're doing it tonight, right? It's the new moon. It's the new moon. And so tonight is the night for working magic for the last part of 2016, and also setting some intentions. So even now as I'm talking to you, I want you to get your mind really quiet. I want you to call your energy into present time, and I want you to think about what energy you want to put into this candle that we're crafting together. And as I show you the rest of the things that I've gathered, I want to inspire you too. Robin's doing abundance and prosperity. Riley, that's not a bad thing. She said she only had white, but you know what, Robin, that's probably the most multi-purpose color that you can work with. So whether you're doing manifestation or peace or, you know, creation or anything, white can be all-purpose. Black I tend not to work with too much, because black, unless it's for new moon, new creation, new intention, black is really for banishing work for the most part, and so I tend not to work with a lot of black candles. Yes, blue is great for communication, absolutely. And for me, Anne asked if you can draw a picture and place it on a candle. For me, no. The way I was taught, but I mean, just take it for what it's worth. The way I was taught is the actual carving into the candle is very significant. And so part of it is the transfer of energy from your intention into the actual wax. So, and as you burn the candle, that's part of the magic, is that the shapes sort of burn and meld and move into each other, if that makes sense. So I was always taught, as far as candle carving goes, that you actually need to carve into the candle. Okay, good. So Riley, it's absolutely perfect if you have a white candle. Yeah, Lynn has a tricolor candle, so absolutely. And when you work with what you have, I think part of what's really beautiful about that is it's going to force you to think, okay, so if I have white, pink, and green, what can I do with that? And that for me, because pink and green are the heart chakra colors, that to me, a white, pink, and green combination would be about manifesting love, but you could certainly use that in other ways too. Okay, so let me show you what I have. I take crafting really seriously, and it's part of the reason why Sage Goddess products feel a little bit different, because everything that's made here is made in the old ways at the moon phases, with specific intention, with crystals. So since whenever I do any kind of healing work, I have a grid that you might aspire to create one day, which has the Synergy 12 crystals. They're glued on because I travel with this grid. So it has a quartz generator in the center, which is actually a manifestation generator, and then it has all of the Synergy 12 stones scattered around it with sacred geometry, with the platonic solids at the 4 directions. You could certainly make something like this, and in fact, I've had some or all parts of it in the shop at one point or another. So, but it takes years to gather tools like this. That's why I want to point it out to you and maybe help you aspire to create things. What does this do? The Synergy 12 create a vortex of energy when you work with those 12 stones together. Some of them are very rare, like phenakite, tanzanite, for example, but some of them are less rare, like tektite and moldavite, still rare but not exclusively rare. Satyaloka quartz, which is a very unique kind of quartz. I would love to. Denise says, please get a Synergy 12 set in the shop. One of my objectives in Tucson, because I'm very lucky, I have a friend who has happened upon a phenakite mine in Nigeria. And so I'm hoping to be able to bring you back gorgeous phenakite from Tucson. He and I have a private meeting to look at his phenakite. Phenakite is a lot of times the missing link, because you need a nice piece of phenakite in your Synergy 12, and it's been really, really hard. So I recommend building That's Energy 12 grid, and keeping it wherever you are. So, and the other thing I have tonight, I'm going to charge my candle. That's the other piece. And so I have, what I'm working with is this. I have a big log of green amethyst. Again, if these are things that you want to add to your collection, let me know. I see things like this occasionally when I'm at the shows, and I can grab it for you. This is flat enough where I can sit my candle on here to charge, and this is really good healing energy in green amethyst. So I'm going to do that last. Sorry, I've got all the things on the table right now, so bear with me. Okay. I find that carving into the candle with one of these skewers is the easiest way, because you want to make a proper indentation, or an indentation. So I find that using these skewers is the best way to carve. So you can experiment. Other things that you can use an X-Acto knife, but you got to be really, really careful. Okay. And you have to, you could also use, I have nails. Nails can be powerful spiritual tools, you know. So just think about, you know, look at your candle and try carving into it with different media. I don't love the nail as much as I love the skewer, because it makes a deeper indentation. But sometimes for initiating the carve, it can be very helpful. Okay, I have glitter glue in all the colors, because depending on what your symbol is, you may want to use a different color glitter to rub over your symbol. You don't have to have all of that, but that's what I have. I have SG oils, I have wellness, I have transformation, and then somewhere here I have master healer, elder council, and then this is transition mixed with summon. So those are all of the oils that I'm working with. I also have a little vial of healing water from John of God in Brazil, which is a really treasured possession of mine. I may choose to anoint the candle with a little bit of that. I have a beautiful Kuan Yin statue to bring in healing energy. I have a pillar of prehnite with epidote, which is for healing too. Then I'm just going to keep on my altar while I craft. These are all layers of correspondence. So when you start working with the crystals, you start working with the tools. I have two double terminated wands. One is Lemurian and the other one is a Vogel. So what I'm going to do is extract any energy from my own field before I start crafting, and then I'm going to use this to channel and raise energy for my intention for the candle. Do you guys have any questions? That's a lot that I just told you. I actually blended in my transition bottle. I have a little bit of the ceremonial tobacco plus summon plus transition and a little portal. So that's a good blend. Okay, so you're going to see me make a healing candle. You can choose to make whatever you'd like. Let's talk a little bit about the energy of all of this for tonight. So when I watched the enchantments video, and part of what makes me a little bit anxious about it is that they're making those for other people. And so it's really about whether you feel comfortable having tools crafted for you or not. And knowing the energy of the place. So a lot of people obviously have us here at Sage Goddess craft things for them, but they also know the energy of the place and the intention and where it's coming from. I don't know the energy there, which is why I would not choose to, you know, purchase a candle like that. I would if it was someone I knew. However, the bigger magic like this, I don't carve candles. If you notice, these are not for sale in my shop. I don't do, in a way, this is spell work, and I don't do it for other people. And I have people come to me all the time and say, will you please just do a love spell for me? Will you please just do a health spell for me? And because this is, you know, it's work I choose not to do for other people. That's all I can really tell you about that. And part of it is I don't know how they're going to use a tool this potent. And so I don't want to include myself in the responsibility for how that tool is used. Does that make sense? It's a weird line for me, but it's just one that I don't cross. So I put that to you. It's obviously up to you if you choose to make these for people. That's a personal choice. But I actually think working magic like this for yourself is the most powerful thing you can do. So I encourage you to consider using it that way. Okay, now the first thing you want to do, I've already started on mine because I wanted to show you a little bit as an example, but you need to dedicate your tool. So we have smudged. If you're doing it with me right now, grab your candle. I'm actually going to light my healing candle here on my altar too, since I'm doing healing work. And like I said, every layer of this that you do is a correspondence. I've lit my healing candle. I've smudged. I have a quartz wand to raise energy. I have additional crystals here. I've called in the energy of Kuan Yin as a bodhisattva for healing. I'm going to charge it on a bed of green amethyst. I'm doing it on a new moon. So all of these are layers and layers and layers of energy. So the more you have, the better it is, truly, in my experience. Okay. Yeah, for sure. You know, Prashita's asking about Archangel Raphael. Certainly calling in the archangels to support you. If you didn't have a healing candle, but you had a Raphael candle or one of the palm stones, you know, anything representing the archangels would be beautiful to use right now. Lisa said she loves the Kuan Yin oil. I appreciate that. Because it's one of my favorites too. I think the combination of Buddha and Kuan Yin, if you haven't tried it yet, is really special. Hi, Kayla. I see you guys. I'm so happy that you're here. So yeah, so light your candle if you're going to light one, calling your energy into present time. I'm just going to close my eyes. And what I do is I take my candle in both hands and set the intention. So by the dim light of tonight's new moon, I'm just imagining opening the circle and having you all with me in the space. I call in my guides tonight. I call in the ascended masters, the angels and archangels. I call in the energies of Kuan Yin and Buddha to be good guides, to be supportive allies as I create this healing magic tonight. I create this magic for myself with the intention that this candle will support my personal healing. And I ask that this healing unfold in perfect alignment with my soul's path, with the path that I am on, and with the health and well-being that I need in order to complete my soul's mission in this lifetime. And so I call upon this candle as I carve into it this evening, as I will burn it after this. I call in energies of healing, perfect health in a way that allows me to feel free of pain, feel free of anxiety, just calling in perfect health and well-being for myself and my life. And this year, as well as 2017 and the year ahead, may this candle be a constant reminder as I burn it. And that perfect health is my divine birthright, as it is yours, too. So, and you can even say that right now and just claim it. Perfect health is my divine birthright. I love that so much. I may have to have Dave come in, by the way, because I didn't realize my cell phone battery is low. We didn't work all that out before we started this broadcast, so you may have to bear with me in a second, but I want to finish dedicating my candle. So calling in divine energies of healing, well-being, peace, comfort, alignment, asking that all of this unfold in just perfect time, allowing me to feel healthy and well going into the new year. And I'm claiming that tonight. I'm claiming perfect health as it is my divine birthright. I'm claiming comfort. I'm claiming a life free of illness or pain. I'm claiming a life full of peace and joy, thoughts that are free, thoughts that bring peace and joy to my life. Releasing any resistance to well-being tonight, releasing anything that isn't serving my body's highest good. Calling in all that support, all that comfort, all that well-being, and not just for me, but for everybody who's watching as well. I claim health as my divine birthright. And so it is. Amen, I hope. So it is. So good. Okay, stay here 2 minutes, maybe 1 minute. I'm going to go get a cord from my phone. Stay right here. Dave to the rescue. Okay. Did you do it with me? Did you claim health as your divine birthright? How beautiful does that feel? You can claim all the things. I claim prosperity as my divine birthright. I claim peace as my divine birthright. You insert whatever it is that you're setting an intention for just that way. We're going to need we have an extension cord. My phone's over here. Sorry guys, this is a little bit of a shit show tonight. We'll figure it out though. So I'm going to bring it around here, under here. Thank goodness it's sabbatical. You guys are so patient. Hold on. Okay, I think once we get that plugged in, I will have power soon. Okay, so Haley's asking a really fantastic question, and Haley, I'm going to do my best to answer it for you in a way that makes sense, okay? Because it's a very fine line. So when I'm doing something that has a lineage in witchcraft, I consider it to be spell work, okay? And this has a lineage in witchcraft. Now, I have told you guys this many times. I don't identify as a witch, and I don't consider myself somebody who practices witchcraft. I don't have any judgment against it. It's just not my path. And that was something I discerned after going through a very long process and almost initiating into a Wiccan priestesshood. When I do things that have that lineage, I'm always just mindful of it, and I tend not to. There are certain crafts, and I think about the same. Remember our honey jars that we did with Oshun, which is sort of part of the hoodoo tradition in the southern part of the United States, and certainly parts of Africa as well, which is where it came from. That, for me, was also a borderline craft. I wouldn't recommend doing that craft for anybody else. But I will tell you that, do you know that every single thing I wrote and put into that honey jar manifested? And it did the same for other people, too. I had a couple friends who put their things in my honey jar, and it manifested. So sometimes I do the things with you. Thank you, Alana. Sometimes I do the things with you because they're powerful and because I believe that they work, even though I think they're sort of on a border. Does that make sense? And so, you know, I obviously can't tell you guys what to do or how to use your magic. I just urge you to be a little cautious when you are working with things that have a lineage where, at times, crafts like this can be used not for the highest good. Does that make sense? So I just sort of, I tread with caution, let's say. And even things like my mom was really gifted. We'll get started in just a second. My mom was a really gifted automatic writer, and I've told you guys that story multiple times. It's not something I would choose to do because it's dangerous, and it's dangerous even under the best conditions. However, having said that, she was very gifted at it. So you have to sort of decide what your level of comfort, your threshold is, and go with that. Yeah, well, the honey jar is a big deal. I mean, truly, every single thing that I put in mine manifested, and quickly, too. And it did for everybody else who put it in there, too. So I try to share with you the bigger magic, the things that I know work. I also think you have to Destri's point here, and thank you for saying that, and to Anne's point, too, it's about the intention of the activity, and it's about you being responsible for the energy that you bring to the work that you do. And you guys have found over the years, and I don't know what you think of it, but you guys have found that I'm very cautious. I'm sometimes too cautious. But I've seen some things, and so those things that I've seen have made me very cautious, and so I tread with caution. Well, spell work. I mean, I don't know what the literal technical definition of spell work, though, but spell work isn't much different from the way I define magic, which is using the existing energies in the field to achieve a particular intention or outcome. That's what a spell is. But in witchcraft, spell work often calls upon a broader cadre of deities and energies that may or may not be in the light. And so I'm just very careful with what I play with because it can be very dangerous. And what I tell people is, almost in a maternal way, because I've been down that road, and a lot of you have too. That's right. And what I tell people is just go easy. I mean, you don't have to jump in and do everything, because I will tell you, as somebody who has a little bit of a maternal instinct with people I practice magic with, sometimes you open doors you can't close. I always tell people, think before you do things. Think before you say things. Think before you create things. Don't just think about the thing that you're doing right now. Colin's a lawyer, so she'll appreciate this. Don't just think about the thing that you're doing right now. Think about 5 steps out. What will the consequence of that be? What you're working on, and will it impact anybody else? Here's a really good example of that. Are you ready? It's one of the best examples I've ever used, and then we'll get back to crafting. But this is a really great conversation, because some of you will go out, and a lot of you, those of you who are especially, to Haley and Kristen, and some of you who are newer to the path, may go out and try to create something or do something and sort of unwittingly step into a little bit of a landmine and not know. You know what I mean? I've lived a little bit, and when I got into sort of bigger trouble with things like that, it was in my teenage years, and I'm in my mid-40s, so I have now 30 years to look back and say, I could have done better than that. You know what I mean? But that's experience speaking to you. But what I tell people is just be careful, because there are doors that you will open that you can't close. And when those times come, you can try a lot of different things, but sometimes you literally can't contain an energy that gets opened. Does that make sense? It's like a Pandora's box. That's for real. But the best example of this I ever heard, and it stuck with me, so maybe it'll stick with you too. I had a friend who said, be careful how you phrase your intentions. And I thought, that's interesting. And she said, I'll give you an example of where it can sort of go awry. And she said, I have people come to me and say, I just want wealth. Like, I just want it. However it's going to come to me, whatever way. And by the way, universe, I'm not setting that intention. I always ask for prosperity that does not come with loss. Because imagine this, what if you just said, I just want wealth, and what if your wealth was going to come to you via an inheritance from someone you would lose? Do you see where I'm going? So this is why, so when you guys see me, and I'm so careful, and you have to remember, a year from now I won't be teaching anymore. So, I mean, I'm 99% sure I won't be teaching anymore a year from now, because I've got other things in the books and things. So hopefully you'll remember and hear my words in your head when those moments come down the road. Hopefully you'll remember me saying, just be careful. You know, when you set an intention for something, it could come to you in a lot of different ways. And so what I always say is, you know, universe, allow me to learn the lessons that I need to learn. Allow me to do it in a way that doesn't cause me physical or emotional or spiritual harm. And allow me to experience and learn the lessons in a way that does not require me to lose anyone or anything that I love and hold dear. Aho, amen, so it is, yeah? Okay. And I do think that there's a certain point, too, where you can say, universe, I'm going to push pause for right now. I'm kind of good. You know what I mean? Have you had those points in your life, too, where you're like, I'm good. I think I'll take a month off from learning, or maybe let's take 6 months off from learning, universe. I think I'm good for right now. And you can actually push pause on those things. But yeah, sometimes your magical work, even in the best scenarios, can cause harm. And you have to be careful. So it is. Okay, any questions? Any questions? Right. For my highest good, the best good, that of my family, those I encounter, all the things, right? All the things. So you guys know, but I remind you sometimes because I feel like it's my obligation. I see people teaching things, and I don't see them having the other conversation, and I always think, gosh, I mean, if people are just telling you to go and do this, that, and the other, and then they're not saying, but there are all these other things you have to consider. And remember, you know, even intentions and set in social media have an energy field. That's why I rarely unfriend anybody, but I sure unfollow people all the time, because they're creating energies in my energy field that are not in alignment with my highest good, and I can feel it. Unfollow. I think that's your right. Okay, so I'm glad that was helpful for you. So let's think. Ready? Let's think together. And you can't overthink magic. I really don't think that you can overthink magic. I think you can underthink magic at your own peril sometimes. Okay, so you have your symbols, you have your candle. We have set an intention for what you, Rebecca says she has separation anxiety. Oh, we have a whole year together. By the way, the classes are going to launch on December 15th for pre-registration. I think they will fill. And so I hope you will hold space to stay with me in 2017. We will start January 1st. I'm really excited about that. Okay. Yep. All right. So I want you to close your eyes, and I want you to, part of it is I'm going to ask you to work with the symbols for tonight. And then part of it is I want you to draw a little bit. Even if you don't fashion yourself or fancy yourself an artist, I want you to think about maybe coming up with your own symbols. So let me tell you, there is a strict pattern for me for how I do this. First of all, I decide what the front of my candle is, and I carve clockwise, okay, around clockwise. I don't carve counterclockwise, because that's a different kind of candle magic, okay? clockwise. So decide what the front of your candle is. I decided earlier today that this is the front of my candle. You guys see? Okay. So what I want you to do, I want you to decide what the main symbol is for the work that you're doing. Now mine is for healing, and so this is the symbol of the ancient Greek father, really, Asclepius, of health and well-being. He was considered to be a god of healing, and actually this symbol became part of the caduceus, which is the symbol even today of modern medicine. It is a snake wrapped around a staff. The staff represents action, and the snake represents, the staff really represents the divine masculine. The snake represents the divine feminine, and sort of the union of all the forces that align to create perfect health for you and your body. And it's an ancient symbol. I like working with ancient symbols because I think the spirits recognize them. Okay, that's exactly right. Okay, so the first thing you want to do is you want to carve the main symbol for your work with this candle on the front. So I've carved mine, but I'm going to go over it again. And as you do, you need to really focus on your intention. So as I'm carving in, I'm imagining myself in perfect health. I'm even imagining the words health, calm, peace, happiness. For me, my health for me means that my nerves are strong, so I'm calling in just good nerve health. I'm calling in, I get numb, so I'm calling in like really strong feeling in my arms and legs. Just calling in perfect health and well-being for myself. And what does that look like? And so it looks like that. That is my symbol of the serpent with the staff. Okay? These rings are going to come to Sage Goddess next year. I'm working with this man. Is this the craziest ring? They're not available to buy yet, but I'm hoping he's bringing a lot for me to Tucson. Look at the sterling silver on that. And he does gold over sterling silver, and that's kyanite. Next year. He's a pretty spectacular man, actually. I just love being in his energy field, so we'll talk more about him next year. So Sabrina says, can symbols change intention or meaning from ancient to current? Not in my experience. In my experience, Sabrina, what I say is try to use universal symbols. You know, symbols that have had consistent meaning across time, but I don't think you can do harm with your symbols, okay? And what I do then is I take my glitter. Now you could do just glue and then sprinkle the glitter and tap it off. I'm using glitter glue. I'm just going to go over it. I fill in the lines. You see what I'm doing? Just filling in the lines. And as I do it, I always say the same thing, which is the intention. I claim health and well-being, both for this year and the year ahead. Pretty. Isn't it pretty? Okay. Okay. Then here's the next most important part. Are you ready? Again, this is how I do it. This is how I was taught to do it. You might see something different somewhere else, but I like my process because it's kind of neat and orderly. So you ready? The next step down is you need to create a sigil for your name. Now, if you've been with me for a few years, you remember when we made sigils a couple of years ago. You might remember that. A sigil is a symbol that contains all of the letters of your name. So I just made a simple sigil for Athena here. There's an A, a T, an H, an E, an N, and an A. You see that? Yours can look like whatever you want, but this is you. This is you naming your candle, okay? So it's for you. I'm trying to read your comments too, but also it's hard because I have to balance my attention on the candle. So go ahead and carve your name via a sigil. Now, if you don't want it to be too complicated, you can just actually write your name on your candle, but I think sigils are more magical. And as long as it has all of the letters of your name, it qualifies as a sigil, which is a magical representation of your name. Okay, A-T-H-E-N-A. It's been a long day. I gotta make sure I still know how to spell my, yeah, Riley, for goodness sake, if you had to do your whole name, girl, you'd be in trouble. Okay, and sometimes I like to just wipe my candle off. Don't wipe the glitter off of other parts, but just kind of wipe it off so that when you do your glitter part. Okay, and so for me, I'm going to use gold glitter for my name. You can use whatever color you want to use, but I'm going to use gold. Yeah, it will be available later. So if you can't see this broadcast right now, I apologize to you for that. It wasn't my first choice either, but if you can't see it right now, this will be recorded and you can watch it later. And Trixie, for sure. And Haley, yes, if you have another sigil that you're used to using, you can totally use your other sigil. Okay, if you have like a heart that you always draw and that's your representation of you. A sigil is a magical representation of your name. It is not your magical name. And so Trixie, if you have another magical name, or if Trixie uses your magical name, yeah, and for sure, I kind of get away easy here because I have 2 A's in my name, so that's at least 1 additional letter I don't have to carve. Now again, come back to present time. Get focused here. You're calling in your own energy right now. So if it's an image of you in your mind that's healthy, what does that look like? If it's an image of you in your mind of you, if this is a happiness candle, what does your happiness look like? Wipe it off if you need to, and there's mine. So this is my healing candle. Good night, good night. Thank you for being here. I'm sorry you couldn't see it, but the recording will be there, and next time it'll be much better. You won't have to go this way. Okay, now you have a little bit of free reign to start telling the universe a story. Tonight is the new moon in Sagittarius. We're leaping off the edge of the cliff here with a new moon in Sag. And so what I want you to think about is that the rest of this candle, as you go clockwise, is a story that you are telling to the universe about your intention. I just got glitter glue in my hair, so that's going to be really fun later. You're telling a story to the universe about your intention. And so one of the ways that I like to start is by calling in all 4 of the elements. Now I want you to see this. You can draw, and I gave you the symbols for all the elements separately. This is the symbol for all of them together. So it's a circle with 4 lines at north, south, east, and west that do not join each other. That's how you draw a symbol for all 4 directions. And then you draw a point in the center which represents spirit. Do you guys see that okay? So the first thing I'm going to tell the universe is that I would like to work with all 4 elements, including source or spirit, to connect with my health. Okay? So I'm going to start drawing, again, drawing clockwise always. Even your circles should be drawn clockwise. And as I'm doing this, I'm thinking about the 4 directions, calling in north, south, calling in east and west, calling in elements of earth and water, calling in elements of fire and air, calling in source energy and great spirit to support me, and then deciding what color this one should be. So I'm going to do a little purple here. You could certainly do this in any color that you want. Yeah, Pushita, I absolutely will do that. I posted it already in Sabbatical, but if you are having trouble finding it in the Sabbatical group, I will post it again for you, no problem. I actually posted 2 different sheets, both of these sheets of symbols for you. I think, I don't know, the day before yesterday I did that. So those are there, but I'm happy to post them again because I know how our feed gets really busy sometimes. Okay, 4 directions. Colin is distracted by my ring. I should take it off so you can't see it anymore. Okay, so now the Om symbol. So what I'm going to call in addition to all the 4 directions, I'm going to call in both peace as well as the presence of God. That to me is what the Om symbol represents. Om is the sound of the name of God, and so you can even, if you're doing Om with me, you can even say Om. You know, you can chant a little bit if you want. What I like too is that with the Om symbol, you're calling in a Hindu symbol. Really, it's a Sanskrit symbol. And you've already, in my candle, I've already carved an ancient Greek symbol for health. And so I'm starting to open up the pantheons with my choice of symbols. So there's my beautiful Om symbol. I'm no artist, by the way. This is just me kind of freehanding it. And then I'm going to again go over that with purple glitter because that just feels good. And the painting of the glitter onto the symbol is for me anyway, it's very relaxing. So hopefully you're relaxing as you do that. And you should sort of try to zone out a little bit. This is supposed to be fun. The Om is so good, right? It's so beautiful. It's so powerful. Like I said, for me, when I hear Om or when I chant Om, it's my way of connecting to God, which is very important for me in my practice. And if that symbol or that energy doesn't resonate with you, then pick something that you like. Oh, Elizabeth's decorating for Christmas, but I'm glad that you were here for a little while, and the recording will be there for you, my dear, when you are ready. Okay, so next, because I still want to, a lot of this is about your energy, your identity. So I'm going to carve the glyph for my astrological sign, which is Leo. So you can look at the sheet that I gave you, find your astrological sign glyph. Mine is an easy, kind of fun one to draw as a Leo. I've always loved my glyph. So if you love your glyph, you can draw it on there. Again, just calling my energy in as a fire sign to support my health. Universe, I ask that you guide me to teach me right action to support my health and be better ways of eating or exercising, even though I feel like I'm doing all those things, but always good to have extra support from the universe. So just calling in my own fixed fire energy. So good. Okay. I'm just sort of wiping off the excess. And then here I think I'm going to do a little bit of orange glue. Aw, thanks Amanda. I've missed you too. I'm really glad that you're here. I love that you guys are all here with me, and I know it's such a busy time. I'm really grateful that you took a little bit of space from everything that you have going on to join me. And so like I said, next time our picture quality and everything will be better because I won't be on my phone. I apologize, but at least we're here together. It's like having a power outage with your kids, like at least we're here together, and it might be weird, but let's go with it. Okay, so there's my Leo glyph. Okay, so I'm hearing that it's echoey, so okay, I'm reading your comments. You're making me giggle a little bit, but I'm going to focus. Okay, so now I want you to look at the list of symbols and see if there's something that's really jumping out to you. I love the Dorji as a symbol of transformation, and I've actually got transformation oil that I'm going to be anointing my candle with. So I'm going to draw myself a beautiful Dorji, and I'll show you what that looks like. And what I would invite you to do is just start drawing. Just start carving into your beautiful candle, and let your intuition guide you. And again, just keep going. If there's a mantra, I claim divine health as I claim health as my divine birthright. If you love that, stay with the mantra. Or I claim happiness as my divine birthright. And just start carving. And like I said, I'm not an artist, so I don't have like huge expectations of what my carving will look like. I just do the best I can, and I put a lot of soul and intention into it. This is not for anybody else, it's just for me. So I'll show you in just a second what my Dorji looks like. It's a little messy, but that's the thought that counts. What's a Dorji? So it's on your list of symbols. Oh, Sue, it's 5 a.m. where Sue is, for goodness sake. Sue, thank you for joining us even just for a little while. It's always nice to have you with us. So a Dorji is a symbol from Southeast Asia of transformation and protection. So here's my simple Dorji. You want to have like a round with a point on the top and a round with a point on the bottom and the center part here. So what the Dorji represents is, this is you as a human. This is God and all the divine forces. This is Earth and all of the worldly forces. And this is you in the center. And so what it does is it calls in all of the energy of the earth to support and ground you, and then all the energy of God above and the divine to protect you. And you're right here in the center. I love it so much. It's considered such a powerful symbol that in Southeast Asia, if people can't afford to have a Dorji, they just draw it. Isn't that cool? Yeah, it's on your list of symbols too. It's D-O-R-J-E. And I'm going to do my Dorji in green glitter. And so it is, it's called the Thunderbolt of Enlightenment. It's thought to help you become more godly. It also calls upon the divine for protection, health, and well-being. So as I carve this Dorji into my candle, I claim protection as my divine birthright. I claim transformation. so that everything in my life aligns with a vision that my Creator has set forth for my soul path and purpose. And the more, it's really funny, the more in my older years, the more I do this work, the more I'm really interested in surrender, just as sort of a theme for my life. Can't say that was the case so much with me in my 20s and 30s, but I will tell you certainly in my 40s, I have found that the greatest peace and healing comes from surrender. And so there's a little bit, in carving that symbol, a little bit of energy that I'm surrendering to the divine on my behalf to say, however this needs to unfold, take Jesus, take the wheel kind of thing, It's like the divine has such a better vision for my future. Sherry, not in my experience, but I don't over glitter. I mean, if you look, there's hardly any glitter. There's actually more glitter on my beeswax candles from Sage Goddess than there is on this thing right now. Can you guys see me? Can you hear me okay? Am I back? Are you guys back? I'm having to start a second live stream, so I just wanted to make sure. It says I'm live, but I don't see anybody on yet. They'd have to all leave the last video and then join this one.
And then join that one?
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, I'll tell them in the group to say hi.
Hi, everybody. I'm going to keep going because I think I can keep this recorded for you. So, I'll just expect that everybody will join in a couple of minutes. So, one of the things you want to do is draw symbols that tell a story to the universe. And it looks like you guys are coming back, which makes me very happy. I'm so sorry about all the technical stuff tonight. All the symbols that tell a story to the universe. So you can use the symbols that are on your sheet. I am going to draw a simple pentacle because it's something that I do on all carvings and creations that I do. And that's because that's another representation of the 4 directions plus spirit. It's also a representation of the physical body, the pentacle. And so I'm drawing a pentacle on my candle too. Let me see if, oh, there we go. Yay, we're back. Yay, okay. So I do the pentacle, and then there's a symbol on your sheet of the 2 Hebrew letters, Mem and Aleph. And if you see it on your sheet, it looks like an N. So I'm going to draw the Mem and Aleph. This is a symbol not only of feminine wisdom, but of rebirth. So anytime you are recreating some part of yourself. Hi, you guys, I know. Crazy, crazy, crazy time. Anytime you are rebirthing a part of yourself, the Mem and Aleph is a very powerful, very ancient symbol from the Hebrew tradition as well as the Kabbalistic tradition that represents rebirth. So if you're creating something new, you need the symbol. I'm going to draw the Aleph under the Mem because I'm just sort of running out of space. Oops, I sort of broke my stick. Hold on. If you guys have your sheet of symbols, you'll see the Mem and Aleph on there. And it looks like that. That is the Mem and Aleph. And then I'm going to use sort of this blue, teal, green color. Actually, I'm going to use blue for this. You guys are back? Yay. I know. When the technology works, it's great. When it doesn't, it's not great. So we just sort of like go with the flow. I'm adding my blue glitter to my Mem and Aleph. And I'll show you that in just a second. So I'm calling in rebirth, transformation, a new image of health and well-being for myself and my life. Again, calling in comfort, peace, well-being, happiness, lots of rest, protection. There's my Mem and Aleph. Okay. Wonderful. Sarah says you put a spiral on hers, a Vesica Pisces. You can definitely, do the flower of life, the tree of life. So I have actually covered mine in all the symbols. Now I just go back and see, is there anything else I want to add? I love to do an alchemical symbol that's not on your sheet, so I'm going to teach it to you really quick, okay? And then I'm actually going to do it on the top of my candle. So I'll show you what that looks like. In alchemy, and I think next year I'm going to do a deeper dive with you guys on alchemy, especially since I don't see myself teaching after 2017 anymore. I might do a deeper dive on alchemy with you guys to really teach you the symbols, to talk about the metals. So I haven't ever really fully taught anybody everything I know about alchemy. And you guys are ready. So I think I can take you to a deeper place. So the triangle with the circle inside, and I'll try drawing this for you too in case you can't see it because it's really small on my candle. And then inside the circle, you do a square. And when you do that, it's hard to see on here, but I'll draw it in the classroom for you. This is the primary alchemical symbol, and when you do that, you're invoking a very ancient tradition of creation that begins with a destruction of what already exists and yields ultimately the best possible highest outcome. And in alchemy, we talk about turning base metals into gold, and that's basically what alchemy is. It's taking all the stuff in your life that is of a lower vibration and transforming it into a vision of your life that's in alignment with your highest good. So I'm doing some black glitter on my alchemy symbol, and then I'm going to do a little bit of gold too, and that represents both the it's funny, around here we all know about alchemy, so we were all talking today about the Latin words for, putrefaction and which signs govern the different phases of alchemy. So I have a lot to teach you still. That's my little alchemical symbol. Okay. And then I think on the other side, I'm going to do, let's see, the Ankh. I love the Ankh so much. Beautiful symbol of eternal life. Really fun story too. So one of my mentors in minerals and rocks passed away last year. And it was funny because for the whole time I knew him, for the 15 years I knew him really well, he would always say that he was an atheist. He didn't believe in God. And I was always like, how are you an atheist? You're a miner. You see all these beautiful creations. How can you be an atheist? And when he passed away, I was invited to go and look through his private collection. I bought a number of pieces from his private collection. I was gifted a lot of things too, which was really nice. And it was full, his private collection was full of religious symbols and jewelry. He had an Ankh, huge sterling silver Ankh pendant, which I have. He had something with the flower of life on it. He had the Platonic solids. So it was very interesting. We all were like, God, do we know him really well? Because he always said he was really an atheist, and then it turns out he had all these beautiful, religious symbols and things too, which is pretty cool. Okay, I want to make sure I'm seeing all of your comments and questions. Okay, good. All right, so last thing is I'm coloring in my Ankh. I'm going to do this one in blue. My glue isn't even cooperating. It's a challenging evening. I'm going to color in my Ankh in blue. And so now I've got the Egyptian pantheon. I have alchemical symbols, which are sort of trans-pantheon. Alchemical symbols are sort of beyond, at least to me, beyond a pantheon. They're much older and much more complex than that. In many ways, we can tie them back to the Sumerian civilization, which is, that's another thing I want to teach you about before I'm done. I want to talk about Sumeria, because I know I've had a past life there, and I think a lot of you have souls that may date back that far, may actually be where a lot of us know each other from. And I think a lot of the alchemical symbols actually come from the High Sumerian period, which is also, something that we link with Lemuria and Atlantis too, so we can talk about that. Okay, so I have a Sumerian symbol, I have a Sanskrit symbol, I have a pagan symbol, I have my glyph for my astrological sign, I have a Buddhist symbol, really a Taoist symbol in some ways. And then I have the Jewish characters, which would be a Kabbalistic symbol. So I feel like a lot of my own faith traditions are represented too. When you feel good about it, when you feel like, okay, I've got the right symbols, I've got the right essence, the right energy, then it's time to anoint. So I'm going to, and when I'm anointing a candle with multiple oils, I mix it all in the palm of my hand. This becomes my palette. Are you ready? So I'm adding Master Healer to my hand. I'm adding a drop of Transformation to my hand. I'm adding a drop of Wellness to my hand. I'm going to add Transition, Portal, and Summon. Let me see how this smells. It smells really good, as you might imagine. So I think this is the right blend. I rub my two hands together, take my candle in my hand, and then going clockwise, I basically am covering the symbols in the oils, which pushes the glitter in further, which I like. So I'm giving thanks to the Mem and Aleph for the rebirth. I'm giving thanks to the early fathers of medicine in the ancient Greek tradition for teaching me about wellness and well-being. Giving thanks to the four directions, including spirit and source. Giving thanks to God, and grateful for the sound of the name of God. Calling in my own divine fire energy for healing. Giving thanks to the sacred symbol of the Dorji for transformation. Giving thanks to the sacred pentacle. And then giving thanks to the symbols that come from the ancient alchemical tradition, giving thanks as well to the Egyptian pantheon, the symbol of the Ankh, which is eternal life. And then again, there's all kinds of things you can do. You can do that multiple times. Some people really like to make sure that they've taken the oil blend and rubbed around the wick. So you can do that 3 times. You can do it 4 times, as above, so below. Some people like to rub the bottom of their candle too, where it will connect to earth. The last thing I want to do is charge my candle on my gemstone. I'm doing this a little more quickly than I usually would because we're out of time. It's crazy, it went by so fast. But here's my green amethyst little charging plate. So I'm going to send the energy, all that healing energy of green amethyst up into this candle, which is about healing, peace. Ooh, I can feel that, the intensity of the energy coming from that piece. So sending all those energies into the candle. And then I say one more prayer. Great Spirit, God, Creator, Goddess, however you think of the one who made you, I give thanks for the ability to connect these symbols to this candle with my intention at this new moon. Calling in divine energies of health and well-being, which I claim as my birthright tonight. Calling in these energies for all of 2016 and all of 2017 so that I can move in alignment with my highest path and soul purpose. And with much gratitude, humility, with peace, with joy, I give thanks for the energy that I've been allowed to raise, channel, and conduct into this candle tonight. May it always be a tool for my healing. Amen, aho, so it is. And then the last thing is, and this is sort of like a an optional piece too. And by the way, you can use lots of different things for charging plates. You can use the if you have this without the crystals on it, use this as a charging plate. It's got the flower of life, which is the pattern of all creation. So if you want to charge it with the ability to create wellness for you, I think that would be fantastic. Because this is a healing candle, I can also then take some of my healing tools. This is what's really cool about it, and start to pull up some of that healing energy into my wand. So because I use this is my personal Vogel for extracting energy. I'm just going to call some of this healing energy up from my candle and all the symbols. Just turning my symbol or my candle as I call that energy up into this Vogel so that I can use it for healing. And literally you can actually go across if you want. Another way to use this with your Vogel is to actually trace the symbols with your Vogel. It's a very powerful way of calling in those energies. Do you see what I'm doing? And you're just tracing. Mem and Aleph to transfer energies of new beginnings and energies of rebirth, transferring the Caduceus for healing, transferring my own personal sigil, transferring the Om symbol to call in energies of peace and divinity, calling in energies of the 4 directions plus spirit. You guys enjoying this so far? I know it's a little challenging, but hopefully you're able to keep up. And then, like I said, the recording will be there. And then what I'm going to do for my last part of the magic is I'm going to conduct energy and send that energy into the candle. So tonight I'm calling in healing energies from north and south, from east and west, and I harness those energies. I call them in to this crystal, and then I send them from my heart space to the crystal. Just transferring, downloading, sending and receiving healing energy between myself and this sacred tool, so that every time I burn it, it has not only the vibration of the symbols and the magic that is there, but as well the energy and the vibration of the crystal that I've worked with tonight too. And then just sending that energy back around. So good. Okay, if you want to pour any of the oils into the candle. You can put a little bit extra on top, you know, just around the wick. That way the energies, the oils will burn down into the candle while you burn it. Okay. And the last step is, you guys still with me? Am I still live? The last step is lighting the candle. So with gratitude, I light this candle for the first time. I gratefully receive the energy of this candle on my own personal behalf, as it is a personal tool. I ask that every time I light this candle that I be reminded that health and well-being is my divine birthright. As I have claimed it at this new moon, so shall it be. Amen, aho, so it is, and it is done. As I have claimed it, so shall it be. And that, my sisters, is it. That is, for me, candle carving and candle magic. And I hope that you enjoyed it. I hope you had fun, even though it was a little disconnected and we had to sort of like patch it together. I hope you enjoyed what we did, and I hope that you were able to experience the magic and the intention of it. It's a beautiful craft. It's a little bit complicated. It also calls upon you to be creative in terms of thinking about what symbols you want to use. And you saw me sort of like, in keeping with what I do anyway, sort of mindfully trying to attend to the different pantheons, to the different essences and energies, different traditions. So I try to do that in everything that I do. But then that's up to you. You don't have to. You know, if you really just feel so connected to the Egyptian pantheon, you could work entirely with Egyptian symbols. You know, you could light a blue candle, a dark blue candle for intuition, and just call in all of the Egyptian gods and goddesses and sacred energies and really fuse all of that together into a candle using, I don't know, Isis perfume or Nile perfume, something that, you know, Egypt would be another one that you could use. So there's a million different ways to do this, and what I love is how personal it can be really to you. So thank you, Crystal. I'm glad that you enjoyed it. And thank you guys for being here with me too. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to post it to the group, and then I will post it in our classroom page too, so that people who aren't in the group also have a chance to see it. So much love to you guys. So much love to you guys. I was going to tell you, I was surprised actually. Did you know there's still a ton of Vogels left in the shop? They're the smaller ones, but you know, the smaller ones are the size that I use, because I carry a little bag around with my energetic crystals that I use for healing. And so my little Vogel is small, but it's powerful. So if you've been wanting one, the cyber code is going away. You know, cyber takes 18% off. So if there's anything left of the Vogels and you haven't had a healing tool like that, you may want to consider doing that while the sale's on. I'm so glad you guys liked it. All right. I'm going to sign off, but thank you so much for being here. I'm actually headed to work on orders tonight. But I love you guys. I'm so glad that you were here. Remember that there's two parts to this. If you go back to watch the recording, make sure that you have access to both so you can see the whole thing to completion. And I'll see you guys very soon. Hugs and kisses. Take care.